Whoa, 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 whoa. A quick note before we get to the episode. And it's a pretty exciting note. It's money. It's just free money for you as a thank you for listening. I'm serious. We're doing a giveaway on the Megabyte podcast for our listeners like you. And all you have to do to enter is go to aka.ms/megabyte giveaway. That's aka.ms/megabyte BYTE giveaway. Okay, that's it. The contest is only open for 10 days. 10 days. So if you're listening to this episode on or before October 15th, 2022, then head over to aka.ms/megabyte giveaway and enter for a chance to win a Visa gift card. Only one entry per person, and official rules are linked in the entry form. Okay, hurry up, go do it. And thank you from all of us here at the Megabyte for being a much appreciated listener. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome to the Microsoft Megabyte. Here's what's up today. Ever find yourself shopping for a new tech item only to come home and realize, you needed 2 or 3 other items to give you that whole experience you were hoping for? Cases, accessories, optional add-ons, things you thought came in the box but actually didn't. Well, today we are joined by Kayla Griffin, who is a customer service and sales pro. She has a wealth of knowledge about how to get what you really need and what to expect from your sales rep and your sales professionals during the purchase process. So Kayla, hello, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking the time away. We're now in late September, and while we're recording this anyway. So we are, for us anyway, maybe not for everyone else out there, but this is the calm before the storm. So we're just talking about, or for us, really the storm before holiday. So never is it more important to talk about getting the full basket of stuff that you want, especially for someone you're buying a gift for, than right now. So we're so
Absolutely
happy to have you. In fact, Kayla, I know you've listened to a couple of the episodes, but as you know, we've already covered the importance of listening and getting to know every shopper's needs and everything. And as a customer, how important it is to be heard and understood when you're buying technology. But what about getting that all important, complete solution? So from your perspective, I'm just going to pose this question to you. Where do you see many sales interactions tending to miss the mark in terms of getting the complete solution?
Yeah, so I see that we're not really taking the time to add on additional items that the customer will need to be able to get through their day-to-day life while using the device.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're purchasing a Surface laptop, we're hitting the mark with, are you going to be needing Office? Are you going to be needing Word, Excel? But we're not talking to them about anything additional that they may need.
So as a customer walking into a store looking for a new device for a gift or something, you're going to be offered a couple things that are a priority right now for that retailer to offer, right? Like
Right.
We've all been trained that if a customer is buying this kind of laptop, then they should probably get one of these accessories. They should probably get that. If they're buying a Surface, they should probably get a digital pen because it really completes that solution, or a keyboard. Okay, great. But you're saying that's from like Microsoft's perspective. That's from perhaps Best Buy or Micro Center or whoever retailer is. That's from their perspective. But you're saying from the customer, from the shopper's perspective, there could be a whole lot of things that we're missing from that basket. So how do you help others understand what to recommend to make sure someone doesn't come back and say, hey, what the heck, man? Now I got to come back to the store to buy this thing that I totally needed to do my work.
So we're taking the things that customers are saying to us about their lifestyle, what they do for work, what they do for school, what they like to do for fun. And we're building upon that. Like you just said, if you're selling a Surface and you're going to have a keyboard, but go even further than that and even explain in detail why they need these things versus just trying to say, do you want a keyboard? Why does that customer need a keyboard? You're listening to that customer say, I work from home 8 hours a day. Now you're saying, okay, because you work from home 8 hours a day, let's get you a keyboard so you're not on the smaller keyboard on your laptop all day, which can become uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, what else do you do on your device? What else are you using it for? Okay, let's get the pen. Now let's get the Arc mouse to go with that. Now what about do you travel a lot? Do you need to look at a case for this? Do you need to look at a messenger bag that can hold the laptop in there. Don't just stop at one additional thing. Take what that customer is telling you and really put yourself in that situation. Okay, so if that was me and I'm, traveling all the time and I'm, also on my laptop all the time, what would I want for myself to be comfortable using this day to day? What additional things would I need?
Okay, that's a huge point. That's a very, empathetic type point. So then let's switch from putting ourselves in the sales professional's shoes to the customer's shoes. What should I be armed with? What should I be prepared to share about my lifestyle? Because I'm going to be honest with you, someone shopping for technology might not be thinking about the various aspects of their life that are relevant to buying a new computer, a new tablet, a new phone, whatever the case may be. Like, what are the things that a sales professional is going to really want to understand about my life as a shopper to make sure that I get the complete solution?
Yeah. So, I think it starts with, what are you going to be using the device for? Are you using it for play? Is it going to be for work? Is it going to be for school? What additional things will you be using it for? Because let's be honest, we're not all on here just for work or for school. Sometimes we're listening to music. Sometimes we're browsing.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I would like to explore, and I'll try to think of some as well. But I'd like to give some practical examples. Like, do you have any scenarios or any experiences that pop in your head about a shopper who had a unique need that that wasn't quite apparent at the beginning of an interaction, but then as you went through, you're like, oh no, you really need X or Y. Like, the thing you came into the store for is not the thing you ended up needing.
Yeah. So I actually had a customer coming in, and she was looking for a device that had 1 terabyte of storage.
Oh, like, specifically she had in her mind, like, I need a computer with 1 terabyte of storage.
She had specifically in her mind, I need a computer with 1 terabyte of storage.
Okay.
And that was it. She wanted just to have all of her files there. She thought that with what she did for work, she was going to be running out of space, and it's like, you don't have to have that amount of storage on your device. And also it's going to slow it down. The item that she wanted was out of stock anyways. And so we went into the direction of OneDrive. If you have that M365 subscription, you're going to get that OneDrive 1 terabyte of cloud storage. So you're not needing you don't need your device to have all of that on there for you, because you're going to get that anyways. And then it's easier for when you're not by your device, you're out doing something. And if you have to pull up a file on your phone, you're going to have it right there for you. So you're also thinking about your customers that are on the go all the time, helping them to make their life simplified and easier by having that OneDrive storage.
That is a perfect example, because it actually addresses so many issues all at once. It addresses, customer preconceptions from perhaps earlier years of shopping for PCs. I need a huge hard drive. Like, a huge hard drive is what I need. I need a lot of, okay, great. Because that's what we've been trained to think. More is better. Okay, great. But what you pay in terms of the resources, like the cost of that additional storage, might not be exactly impacting the ultimate experience that you're actually wanting. Because what you're wanting is access to all your files. Sure, I get that. We all want access to all of our files. But when you have it on OneDrive, you can now get a device that has a super fast solid state drive that maybe will be 256 gigs or something. So you're thinking 256 gigs, but I have my giant video files that I need access. Like, hold on. How much of them do you actually need access to all the time? Because you're going to have them always available to you on the cloud. And when you need them, they'll be available on your hard drive as well. And you're going to save storage otherwise. And now you're going to get a faster processor, more RAM, a better display, a better device, because the money you would have spent toward that full terabyte of hard drive is now being allocated for those other parts of the device that make it faster. And I think the example you're setting there is exactly what a great sales professional does, which is hear the complete picture and then put together a package that is tailored for that customer, for that shopper.
100%. I could not have said it better myself.
So another thing during the holiday sales season that you can't avoid, especially with current labor shortages being what it is in store. And it's hard to find a well-staffed store. So finding time, one-on-one time with a sales associate can be difficult. So then in the holiday selling season, that gets even more crazy because you're dealing with a very busy store. So what are your strategies for customers who are walking in and realizing that, oh my gosh, I'm just one of a dozen people right now in the, computer department looking at Xboxes, controllers, surfaces, tablets, mice, keyboard. I'm just one of a dozen in here. How am I going to get what I need from the limited time I'm going to be able to share with the sales associate?
Yes. So, one thing I will say is, as a customer going into that situation, if a associate is, selling to another customer, talking to another customer, helping them out with something you're interested in, join them, Don't be afraid to go and approach that customer and that associate and just listen to what they're talking about. Show your interest in it. Let them know that you're interested in that as well. And then the person can talk to both of you at the same time. Now, if you are not so comfortable doing that, kind of just hang back and listen, and then, get your questions ready to ask that associate once they're finished with that customer. But don't be afraid to just jump in on the conversation, and even so for the associate, think of group selling. If you are swamped and you have 12 customers in your department and there's only one or two of you, but you are at the surface table and 5 people are standing there, talk to all 5 of them. Broadcast out. Don't just talk to that one customer, because you could be selling to all 5 of them all at the same time. So just make sure that you are aware of your audience around you, and don't be afraid to just speak to everybody as a whole, and don't be afraid as a customer to jump in on that interaction between that associate and that customer if it's something that you're interested in.
I think that's fresh advice for both customers and sales pros. Like, just the knowledge that you can do that. I mean, just the knowledge that you're not being rude by hearing hearing the answer to the question of how much is this versus that, just because someone else asked it. Like, this is you're helping out the store by doing this. You're helping out by getting information with someone else. That's awesome strategies right there.
Exactly.
Kayla, we spoke earlier before the episode, and you were talking about the importance of just seasonal awareness. And I don't think you're talking about making sure that you have snowshoes on when it's snowing outside necessarily. I think you're talking about what's the current selling season, because it does impact both a shopper and a salesperson's perspective on how things are sold and what the inventory is and what the options are. But we're now into the pre-holiday season. Gift giving is everything now. So what are your top tips for just awareness in this season that we're entering into from both the customer's perspective and the retail sales professionals?
Yeah, so you are right. I mean, we are in pre-holiday season. People are already out shopping for the holidays. So, when you have a customer coming in and they're looking to buy something for a gift, think about the complete package. Think about the whole gift, the whole solution for them. If they're coming in and they're wanting to get an Xbox and you're selling them a controller, are you going to sell the controller without the batteries? Are you going to, sell the Xbox without Game Pass? Think about things like that. Like, you wouldn't want to give somebody a gift or even receive a gift that doesn't have the entire gift included. If you're selling a device, ask that customer, okay, is who you're purchasing this device for? Are they going to be using Word? Are they going to be using Excel or PowerPoint? Yes. Okay, you need to get them, M365 to go with it. You don't want the person that you're buying the gift for to get it and then be like, okay, well, now I need to go get A, B, and C to be able to use this gift. And even as customers going out and shopping, you want to make sure that you're asking those associates that are helping you, okay, what all do you think I will need for this? What else should I get that will make the person that I am buying this for life easier?
So you really have to simulate someone else's life in a way when you are dealing with a gift giving situation. You have to simulate, you have to be prepared to answer questions about how your gift recipient lives and what their interests are and what their day in the life might look like. Because you're so right. An Xbox as a gift is phenomenal. What a thing to open up and to see that someone got you an Xbox. That's unbelievable. An Xbox with Game Pass is, I almost just said Ultimate, but that's just because my brain is broken. I want to say Game Pass Ultimate. An Xbox with Game Pass is the supreme gift, because that means here's an Xbox and here are hundreds of games you can play right now. Like, there's no more conversation. Like, this is it. You can start playing hundreds of games right now versus you have an Xbox. Now, which games do you want to buy? That's a completely different gift, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's, and it simplifies it for the customer, because if you think about it too, somebody's buying an Xbox for somebody else and you're like, oh, well, what games do they want to play? What games do they like?
That's tough.
It can be overwhelming because they're looking at rows and rows and rows of games and they're like, oh, I have no idea. I never really paid attention to what, they're playing. And so, okay, well, let's make that easier for you. Here's Game Pass, and they have access to hundreds and hundreds of games, so you don't have to choose, and then they're not having to come in and buy additional games and figure their whole life out with that.
Is the difference between buying someone a DVD or buying them Netflix subscription. Speaking of gift giving, I think the last thing I want to really touch on is the intimidation that a lot of customers can feel when they walk into a busy selling situation and they're buying a gift for someone and they're concerned that, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to get them a tablet, and now I'm being offered this extra mouse, this extra pen. How much is that digital pen? Like $100, and this keyboard cover is like over $100, and now the Microsoft 365, this is like $300 worth of stuff that I wasn't planning on buying, and now I'm feeling pressured into buying all this stuff because if I don't, I'm going to be a bad gift giver. Like, first of all, tell us about why a good sales professional is making these recommendations, and what I, as a shopper, can feel empowered about my decision making and the confidence I have to say yes or no to these recommendations.
Yeah, so an associate, what they're doing is they're taking what you're telling them that you or the person that you're buying the gift for is going to be using the device for, and they're recommending additional things based off of that.
Yeah.
So if they're saying, oh, well, they might need a keyboard, they might need a mouse, they might need a pen, they might need Office, they're recommending these things to you because you're telling them what that person is going to be using it for. And they want to make that person have a little bit more ease in their day-to-day use of the item. Now, do not be afraid of that. Don't feel like you have to agree to all of that. You can still say no. Don't be afraid to say no to them. But with that, I will say also ask them what is a necessity versus what is not right now at the moment. So if you are getting a tablet or a laptop for somebody, a necessity would be M365. It would be Office, because that they are going to need that to be able to do their day-to-day life with the device. So don't be afraid to say no, but also make sure that you are asking, okay, what is a necessity? What will they really need today to be able to get through their day-to-day life while using this?
That's right. We want you to be the hero on that gift giving moment, right? You're like, oh my gosh, we've made you the hero by gifting the entire experience that someone wants. But everyone's human, and we're just trying to answer questions and guide things down the right path that we think is best. So feel free throughout the process to be like, no, that's not relevant, and here's why. And if you provide the here's why, that's only going to help the sales professional further tailor the right solution for you. So I think that's a great piece of feedback and another good tactic. Thank you, Kayla.
Yes, of course.
Kayla Griffin, thank you so much for giving us your insights today. I know we are on the cusp of things getting absolutely crazy out there, so I'm so glad we were able to squeeze you in before things get absolutely manic. So I'm sure that feeling is mutual. I'm sure it goes out to the rest of the country as we get into the mess that's about to happen with the selling season, but it's an exciting season as well. So thank you so much, Kayla.
Well, yes, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. But I will say that things are about to get crazy. Just try to stay calm. I wish you and all of us the best of luck going into this holiday season. I feel like more people are going to be coming out. We aren't in the beginning of the pandemic anymore. So we're going to see a little bit more traffic. So just try to stay calm, try to breathe. And like going back to what I had said, host multiple people at one time. Don't be afraid of group selling. Don't be afraid of giving customers demos to play with while you go talk to somebody else. Everything will be okay. We will make it through this together. You guys got this.
Kayla Griffin, thank you so much.
This has been the Microsoft Megabyte Podcast, a training tool for Microsoft field team members and sales professionals across the country, produced by Microsoft employees.